that's not really taste. Those things are really smell. All of those aromas are being picked up by your nose, and that's what's giving you the different aromas that are in the wine. And those aren't added aromas. It's not like somebody added fruit to the wine and that's why it smells like fruit. Those are just the natural compounds that are present in the grape. Nothing's added to the wine. It's just fermented grapes. Other than the yeasts that ferment the grape, nothing external is really added. So any aromas you get, sometimes people say it reminds me it's woody, tobacco, these types of things, earthy aromas. It's just the natural scent compounds. But then there is actual taste as well, and taste is really only 3 or 4 categories. Our tongue can only pick up a few characteristics, things like sweetness, sour, acidity, saltiness. Those are really the things that the tongue picks up. And all of these things together is what we use to judge a wine and evaluate a wine. And of course, you need to like it. There's a very subjective part of it as well. So the first aspect of looking at wine is looking at the body of the wine. So you hear about the term light-bodied wines, fuller-bodied wines. Typically, fuller-bodied wines have lower acidity and higher alcohol and higher tannin. So tannin is a flavor compound that it sort of numbs your mouth. Like if you were to ever drink very strong tea, or if you put a tea bag in your mouth, tea is very high in tannins. It's a little bit astringent. It numbs your mouth a little bit. Grape also has tannins. They come principally from the grape skins and seeds. So the fuller bodied wines have a little bit more of that tannic characteristic. And then the lighter bodied wines are typically lower alcohol, slightly higher acidity, fewer tannins. So the Sireni grape that we'll be trying tonight is definitely a fuller bodied grape. It's like a Petit Syrah, also known as Shiraz. It's sort of on the fuller end of the spectrum. Areni wines, which are another popular variety of Armenian wines, are more on the lighter side. People say it's more like a Pinot Noir. It's a lighter, clearer bodied wine. The next thing to look at is really the color of the wine. So red wines, when they're young, are almost purplish. And as they age, they become more red. And they eventually, as they age 15, 20, 25 years, they turn almost brown in color and they become more clear because a lot of the compounds in the wine will settle in the bottom of the bottle. So they become clearer, but they also lose their redness and they become more brown. White wines go from being a very pale color and they almost turn yellow brown as they age, as they get more age. So when you evaluate a wine and you hold it up and you look at it, you're really checking for clarity. Is it cloudy? Wine should not be cloudy. Is it clear? Is it cloudy? Are there particles in it? There shouldn't be. What is the color like? Is it pleasant? The color tells you a little bit about the age of the wine. But then the next thing to look at is the smell. So when you evaluate the smell, really get your nose into the glass. And there's no shame in sticking your nose, our big Armenian noses, right into the glass. Take a deep breath, inhale through your nose. And what do you smell? What are the aromas that you're picking up? Is it fruit? Is it spice? Is it flowery? Is it earthy? Does it smell like leather? Does it smell like your father's pipe tobacco? All of these flavors, all of these scents are in the wine sometimes, and that's what really differentiates one vineyard to the next vineyard are these aromas. And this is a list of some of the typical aromas that you might read about in a wine. Pear, apple, cinnamon, smoke, tobacco. All of these things have been used to describe the aromas in wine. And
it was working.
Lastly, the next thing to really evaluate is the taste. So as I was saying before, our tongue really only differentiates between 4 different tastes: sweetness, sour or acidity, saltiness, and bitterness. And different parts of the tongue pick up different tastes. So when you taste a wine, people spin it over their tongue. It's almost like a gurgling action. They'll rotate it over their tongue so that the front of the tongue, the back of the tongue experiences the wine, so that they can taste the different tastes. And really, what you're looking for here is balance. So none of these, the acidity, the bitterness, the alcohol, the sweetness, none of these things should be overpowering or unpleasant. They should all be well-rounded and balanced. So these are the things to evaluate when tasting a wine. So I'd like to kind of transition now to us actually tasting the wines. So we'll start, it's in wine tastings, it's always better to start with the lighter wine and then move up to the fuller bodied wine. So I'd like to start with the white wine. If you haven't yet poured it, hopefully it's nice and chilled. Grab your white wine. Pour a little bit into a glass. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at it. So let's go back to color. Hold it up to the light. Is it clear? Is it a pleasant color? Is it light and pale? Because this is a white wine. Or is it more golden or sort of, in the middle of this color spectrum? Is it older wine, which is a little bit browner? This is essentially a brand new wine. This is our 2019. It was just recently bottled. So it should be pretty light and pale. And I think it is. I think in terms of color, I think it's a very pleasant sort of pale yellow color. The next thing to look at when you're looking at it is sort of the viscosity and how you can judge this. You'll see more with the red wine is if you tilt your glass to the side, don't let it spill out because that's a waste of good wine, but tilt your glass to the side and then tilt it back down. And you'll see that the wine sticks a little bit to the sides of the glass. It doesn't, the more it sort of lingers on the sides of the glass, indicate that it's a little bit higher viscosity. That's an indication of the alcohol content. So the more higher viscosity it has, the more it sort of dribbles down the sides of the glass. That means it's a higher alcohol wine. You'll see with my white, it's not really that high in alcohol. I think this particular one came out at 13.5%, which is, it's a good amount of alcohol, but it's not a super high alcohol content like you'll see with the red, which sticks more to the sides of the glass. So those are the things that you really evaluate when you look at it. The next is the smell. So put your noses in there, and I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure if we can make this a little more interactive, Michelle. Maybe people can put in chat or just comment on what kinds of aromas are you picking up? If you put your nose into the white and take a deep smell, it's hard for me to pinpoint what all the aromas are, but I definitely pick up fruit.
Yeah, I'm smelling a little fruit and vanilla.
Yeah, a little vanilla. Yeah. Yeah. It's very light. I love it.
I'm definitely picking up fruit, almost like a pineapple, apple, pear, maybe. It is a fruity wine. I don't think it's as herby. Like I'm not picking up grass or things. The vanilla is interesting. I can see a little bit of vanilla. But these aromas are what give the wine its character, really. And then the next is the taste, and the taste is you're really evaluating the structure of the wine. Is it balanced? Is it not too bitter, not too sour, not too sweet? So here's where take a sip and just roll it over your tongue so it covers the front, the back of the tongue.
Nina Hosepian said she tastes fruity.
Yeah, I think there's definitely fruitiness to it. So if you, putting aside the aromas, if you run this over your tongue, the front, the back, the sides, what you really look for in evaluating wine is that it has balance, right? Like none of those things should be unpleasant. Like it shouldn't be too sweet. It shouldn't be too bitter. I think this one has a nice balance, actually.
We have a figs. I smell figs from Ellen Townsend.
Ellen Townsend.
I don't smell.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's some aromas of fig as well. So keep in mind that nothing is added. This is just the grape that's been fermented. So all of these aromas, again, are just aroma compounds that are coming out of the naturally fermented wine. But what do people think about the taste? Are you picking up? You should pick up a hint of bitterness, a hint of acidity, a hint of sweetness. But again, none of them should be overpowering the others. I think it's pretty well balanced, but I'm biased. I'm the winemaker. It's my wine. I think it came out pretty good. But when you do judge wines, that's what you look for. And I think this one, I'm very pleased with the white. This is our first year making a white, our 2019. It's a Vosekhat. And because of COVID and then the war, I wasn't able to really be as hands-on making this wine as I wanted to be. So I sort of had faith in my winemaking team, and they really did a good job. So, I just received this recently, as you did. So this is as new for me as it is for all of you. This is our brand new 2019 Vosekhat, and you folks are the first to try it. So I'm happy to be able to share it with you.
It's wonderful, Alex. We're getting some. I love it. Light, sweet, easy to drink. I enjoy the balance of the sweet, acid, and bitter flavor.
That's great. Yeah, I'm glad. So my sister-in-law tried this the other day, and she sipped it, and her first comment was, "It's sweet." And I'm like, "What do you mean it's sweet? It's not sweet." So I don't want it to be sweet, and I don't think it's sweet. I think it's dry but fruity. So I sort of interrogated her, like, how was it sweet? And I think what she really was picking up were those fruit aromas, and equating that with sweetness. So then I turned to the boss, which is my wife, and I said, "Honey, is this sweet?" And because I didn't think it was. And she said, "You know what? It does have a touch of sweetness, but not in a sugary way. Not she said it's balanced and it's not sweet, because we weren't going for sweet, but I think it's just enough to keep it balanced, I think. So I'm happy. I'm glad everyone liked it. So I do want to switch gears now to the red wine. But before I do, I'm going to actually talk about, I don't know if people can still see the camera. I'm going to talk about the differences in the shape of the glasses. If you can see the camera that I'm holding up, the white wine here and the red wine here. So the shape of white wine glasses and red wine glasses are different. And the reason they're different is because with white wines, first of all, they're typically drunk at a cooler temperature than red wines. So you want the wine to maintain its temperature in the glass. So first of all, when you hold the glass, they're meant to be held by the stem. Like sometimes people just grab the glass with their hand, but that causes the warmth of your hand causes the temperature of the wine to change. That's good for cognac. So cognac glasses have very short stems because you're supposed to hold the glass by the actual bowl of the glass so that your hand warms the cognac. But you don't want that with wine. You want to hold it by the stem so it maintains its temperature. And the nose of the glass is narrow, and that concentrates the aromas of the white wine in your nose and helps keep the wine cooler. The surface area of the wine is less. The red wine glass, in contrast, has a much wider bowl and a wider mouth on the top. And the reason the bowl is wider is so that you have more surface area. It's not so you can fill it up all the way with more wine. It's so the surface area of the wine is more, so that it breathes, it gets more air, because red wine is fermented with the skins, the seeds, and it can become pretty potent with aromas and things in the bottle. So you typically have to air it out a little bit, let it breathe, give it more surface area so that some of those aromas evaporate. So the first thing I'd like you to do with the red wine is pour yourself some red wine. But before drinking it, swirl it around, let it open up, because this is also a brand new wine. It was just bottled recently, and you'll find that I like to think of it as the wine has been trapped in this bottle, and when you open it, it's got to open up and breathe for a few minutes. Sometimes there are unpleasant sort of aromas that are in the bottle that you have to let it sort of air. It's like an old pair of socks or something. You have to let it air out a little bit. But after a couple of minutes, it turns into a much more pleasant experience. So the first thing you do is pour it, give it a few swirls, let it come into contact with the air. Now we're gonna, just like we did with the white, we're gonna look at the wine, but I'd like you to look at the body first of all. Hold it up to the light, maybe against a white background, and look at the color. And when you look at the color, look at the edges as well as the deeper part, where there's more wine, and then look at the edges of the wine. One thing you'll notice is that the color is pretty consistent. The edges are, the wine is very dark, it's purplish, but the edges are also very purplish. This is an indication that the wine is a newer wine. This hasn't really been aged. This was produced in 2019, takes it about a year, it sits in tanks, and we just bottled it recently. So it's about as new as you can get for a red. But as wines age, after a few years, if you hold it up like I'm holding now, you'll notice the edges will become lighter than the center. And that's a sign that it's starting to age and it's starting to lighten its color. It's starting to go from purple to more red. And again, in this wine body diagram, this is going to be, much more on the fuller end of the spectrum. This is full bodied, lower acidity. And the acidity really is a product of the heat. So our vineyard is in a very hot area. July, August, the temperature can get up to 100, 105, 110. I was in my vineyard once, it was 112 degrees. So what heat does is it increases sugar production in the grape. And the higher the sugar in the grape, the higher the alcohol is in the wine. And the higher the heat is, the lower the acidity in the wine. So this is lower acidity, higher alcohol. So that's the wine body. And again, back to the color, if you look, you'll see it's pretty purple. I mean, you can't get more purple than this. But the other thing I want you to check is the viscosity. So again, tip it on its side and then straighten it out. And you'll see that the wine really lingers on the sides of the glass. You can see these slow drips coming back into the glass. We call these the legs. So this wine has good legs. And again, what that means is that's an indication of the alcohol content. So this particular vintage is 14.5%. I think it's 14.5. Yeah, this is 14.5%, which is pretty much as high as you can get for wine. I think after 15%, it legally can't be called wine anymore. But if you start, tipping it, you'll see that it's really sort of lingering on the sides. And that's really a good sign for a red wine. That's good indication that you have a full-bodied, higher alcohol content red. So next we're going to smell the wine. So let's put those noses back in the glass and try to pick up the aromas.
Alex, I'd like to say Jason Sahigian said, wine from Armenia is excellent, but wine from Artsakh is off the charts. Thank you, Alex and Talar.
Yes, yeah, we love Jason. And he's absolutely right. I mean, I'm biased again, but I prefer, I would take a Sireni over an Areni just because I like the fuller bodied reds. But I mean, everyone has different styles that they like.
And you'll love Linda Doherty. It's wonderfully balanced and not sweet at all.
Right.
Oh, great. I'm glad to hear that.
That's from her mother too. It's not sweet.
That's good. Yeah. So, when you make wine, you want it to match your personal preferences, right? Some people like different styles of wine. My wife and I like the full-bodied, call it maybe a California style, Cabernet, Petit Syrah, full-bodied, no sweetness. We don't like any residual sweetness in our wine, just dry and full. So I think it came out pretty good. I'm having more difficulty sensing the aromas in the red than I was. The white, you could definitely pick up the fruit. Here, I think there is some fruit, but they're sort of maybe a little bit of blackberry, sort of darker fruit. And I'm not sure what else I'm getting. I'm curious what other people are getting.
We're getting a little earthy, oaky. We're getting jammy.
Yeah, jammy. I see that. Earthy too.
Some herbs, I think. Jammy. A
little bit of pepper, slight amount of pepper, black pepper. But this is the fun part of evaluating wine, like trying to pick up the aromas. And then the next part again is taste. Sweet, bitter, tannin. This is a red wine now, so we're going to pick up a little bit of tannin. That's that kind of numbing astringency that like tea has. Again, swirl it over your tongue, and the key thing to look for is balance. So one thing you might notice right away with this is that the acidity is low compared to the white. The white had higher acidity, because it's lighter bodied, but also, the heat of where my red grape is from causes the acidity to be particularly low. So this is our, we call it our classic red. It's, we ferment it in stainless steel, back, in tanks like this. We ferment it in stainless steel, and it ages in stainless steel for approximately a year. This one's actually aged a little bit longer. So we made this in November 2019. We fermented it in November 2019, but it wasn't bottled until recently. So almost maybe a year and 4 months, a year and 5 months it aged in stainless steel before it was bottled. Now in the bottle, it continues to change. So as it sits in the bottle, the flavor will change a little bit. If you have 2 bottles, we drink one now. If you open the second bottle 3-4 months from now, it'll taste a little bit different. It should mellow out a little bit. But I think it's very drinkable now, but will continue to be. Now this wine won't age particularly long. It's not something you would keep for 10 years. It's drinkable now, and you can enjoy it for the next few years. So we also have a reserve red. So the reserve red is essentially, it's the same grape, it's the same winemaking as this red, but after the wine ages in stainless steel, we transfer it to Artsakh oak barrels, which are, basically, barrels like this. We transfer it to Artsakh oak, and the reserve sits in the oak barrel for a year. So those wines, they're a little bit more expensive, the reserve wines, because keeping it in the oak is expensive, but it also takes a lot of care. You have to keep filtering it, transferring it from one barrel to another. There's a lot of care in that additional year. It results in a more expensive wine, but it also, the oak imparts a lot of characteristics to the wine. It'll add tannins and oakiness and a different flavor. So our wines are on the way. They are on a container ship and will be in the US. You can pre-order them. Let me quickly, I guess, pop up our website. This is www.aranwines.com, our website. If you go to the website, you can read a little bit about us, but you can also place orders for our wine. And since we don't have anything in stock right now, we're accepting pre-orders. So if you put an order in, we will ship to you. We're saying July 2021, but it could be a little bit sooner. It depends on how quickly, there's issues with international shipping right now. So it might be sooner, but definitely you'll receive it in July. So everyone can use that discount code that you received. Not only gives you a discount on the wine, but also for every order, we're giving contributions back to the church to help the Hye Pointe Church. So this this concludes the formal presentation, and I'm happy to answer questions, have a discussion, just hang out, and we can we can enjoy the wine together.
Thank you. Everything was delicious. So we have our first question, Alex.
Sure.
Solene would like to know about the irrigation water management in Armenia and Artsakh. Are there concerns with water security and availability?
So that's a good question. So Artsakh was very sort of water independent before the war. So there are some very mountainous sections of Artsakh. There are a lot of rivers that come down from the mountains. We had a big reservoir in Artsakh, the Sarsang Reservoir. My particular vineyard did have irrigation because I installed piping to bring water from the mountains that surround that valley down into my vineyard. But I would only irrigate my vineyard twice a year. We would irrigate it in the February timeframe, and then maybe once in sort of the June, July timeframe. So in terms of grapes don't really need that much irrigation. In fact, too much water is detrimental to the grape. You want grape to be under duress. So the best grape comes from, slightly stressed out grapevines. So too much water is not good. But in terms of the broader question about water security, I know the situation has changed since the war. A lot of our hydroelectric dams and access to rivers has been disrupted. So the situation's not good. I don't know much more about it than that.
Let's see. Does anybody else?
Yeah, when's the rosé
haven't
gonna
had
be
any-
available?
You might have mentioned this, Alex, when the rosé was going to be available.
Yes. So the rosé, that's a big hit, actually. Thank you for asking about the rosé. So the
But I have
rosé is coming.
It's delicious, by the way. So we have to order it.
Yes.
Pre-order.
I never had it. Oh,
So the rosé is coming with the rest of the wine. So just like everything else, you can pre-order it now on the website, and it will be delivered in hopefully early July.
Let's see. Color changes with age. However, does the age and color change the taste?
It does. So a lot of, some people find I have more experience with red wines. So some people find like tannins, if they're too powerful, can be overpowering. So the tannins, again, are that sort of, it numbs your mouth. It's that powerful sort of astringent taste that you get in some wines. Those definitely mellow with age. So as a wine ages in the bottle, the reason the color changes is because a lot of the compounds in the wine just sort of separate from the rest of the wine, and like little flakes, they settle on the bottom of the bottle. So if you've ever opened an older bottle of red and you pour the wine down to the bottom, it's like drinking Armenian coffee, right? When you get to the bottom of the bottle, you get all of these like flaky brown things. That's not just the color that's settling, but a lot of those things also provided flavor to the wine. So at some point, like, there's a misconception that the older a wine is, the better it is. I don't think that's true. I mean, wines, once they get too old, I mean, they lose all their flavor, and they lose all of their interesting characteristics. So, they're, 10 years, 15 years if it's a really strong wine, but once you get to 20 years plus, wines don't really age that well.
And somebody asked if I could purchase in California and online, but I believe the answer is online, just online, correct?
So I'm sorry, what was the question? I didn't hear.
It said, where can I purchase? Can I purchase it in California or just online?
So you can purchase it so we're in stores in the New York, New Jersey area and California, in-person stores. Unfortunately, we're not in any Boston area stores yet, but we will hopefully be soon. But you can order it online, either from our website, which is aranwines.com, or you can go to Wines of Armenia, which is a vendor in California, and they sell not just our wine. I mean, they sell most Armenian wines, and you can order from them, and they'll ship. They now ship to most states. We ship to most states, except we don't ship to California, and unfortunately, we don't ship to New Jersey, and one or two other states. Like I know there's someone from Rhode Island here, I think. Because of Rhode Island, it's all because each state has different laws. I see a Michigan question. Unfortunately, Michigan is one of the strictest states about shipping out of state wine into Michigan. We are starting to work with a distributor in Michigan. I can say that there is going to be a wine tasting of Aran Wines in Michigan. We've done 2 so far, and there's going to be a third in probably late summer or early fall. So I see the name is, I don't know, Aran Sarafian. I can definitely keep you posted on when we do a Michigan wine tasting and once we're in stores there.
Okay, let's see. Ellen Townsend had asked, can you tell by tasting the raw grapes what kind of aroma the wine will have?
No, you really can't, because the grape, when you taste the grape, it just tastes like a sweet grape. So a lot of the aromas are byproducts of the fermentation. So, if I were to go to my vineyard and just pluck a grape and eat it, it would taste great. It would just taste like a sweet grape, maybe, that you eat on the table, maybe even sweeter. But all of that sweetness, that sugar gets converted into alcohol by the yeast. So the way wine ferments is natural yeasts, and we add yeasts. They eat the sugar and they convert it into alcohol. But that whole process, the whole environment, also produces other aromas and things. And these are the things that we pick up. You can't really pick them up on the grape, or at least I can. Maybe I'm not as as experienced in that. But I'll tell you a story about a wine tasting I did in California once. So I was at a vineyard in California, and I was in their tasting room, and they poured a wine, and they're like, "Tell me what you think of this wine." They poured it, and they said, "What do you taste?" And the taste that I got immediately was eucalyptus, which is very distinctive, right? If you pick up a eucalyptus taste, and I'm like, I'm tasting eucalyptus in this. And they said, this is because this particular vineyard had a row of eucalyptus trees along the side. And from the wind, a lot of the pollen or whatever from the eucalyptus trees settled on the grapes and then made it into the wine. So in that case, you could pick up like that kind of grape flavor in the finished product.
Let's see. Somebody did ask if there was a specific store in Southern California that might carry.
Yeah. So the best way right now. There are a couple of stores. One is called Remedy in Glendale. There's also a chain of stores called Mission. They're mostly, I think, in the Pasadena area. Mission Wine and Liquors. Both of those stores will carry our wine, but they don't have any in stock right now. So the only vendor in California that has it in stock is winesofarmenia.com. They're in Van Nuys, but they're not a physical store. They're an online retailer. So if you go to winesofarmenia.com, you can order it and they'll deliver to you. If you order at least 6 bottles, it's free shipping. And since they're in Van Nuys, you'll get it in a couple of days, I guess.
If there's anybody out there that would like to maybe unmute and ask Alex a question, there aren't any more questions via chat. If there's somebody there that wants to unmute and ask a question, please feel free.
Or just general thoughts on the wine, if not questions.
So we can't pre-order the rosé then if we live in California?
So not from my website, unfortunately. So unfortunately, the liquor laws in the US are really convoluted. They're all were a result of prohibition. When prohibition was repealed, there were very strict laws about where wine could be sold, how it could be sold, not just wine, any kind of alcohol. So every state has slightly different rules. And because of that, I'm not licensed to sell directly in California, but Wines of Armenia is. So they don't have my rosé right now. So you wouldn't be able to pre-order
Yeah,
it.
I just checked. I'm like, dang it.
But they do have my 2018 red, which is a little different than the 2019 red. But if you want to, if you reach out to us, just send us an email. You can send it to sales@aranwines.com or inquiries@aranwines.com. And once we have it in stock, we can figure out a way to get it to you, either through Wines of Armenia, or if there's a will, there's a way. If so, we'll.
My cousin Dro will find a way, right, Dro?
He always does, Christine.
If there's alcohol, I'll figure it out, okay?
Alex, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit, I'm sorry, Michelle, I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the winery itself, you know, how many employees you have, how often you go.
Yes, yeah, that's a great, it's a great question. So again, we launched our vineyard in 2005 with the expectation of, you know, building a winery and producing wine. So, and that came from not only a love of wine, but also, you know, a love of Armenia and Artsakh and traveling there a lot. So we once or twice, we sort of embarked on building a winery, but you know, we never were able to complete those projects for various reasons. So in 2018, when we decided to start producing wine, rather than you know, build a winery from scratch in Artsakh on our land in the vineyard, we decided to partner with an existing winery to use their facilities in Yerevan. So we produce our wine in Yerevan. It's actually a partner facility where, you know, it's our wine, it's our grape, we bring it there, we make it, but the equipment, the machinery is theirs. We lease it from them to have that ability. So our longer term plan was to have an on-site winery in the vineyard with tasting rooms and everything, but the war has sort of, you know, put a lot of those plans up in the air. I think longer term, you know, we will do something like that, but in the meantime, we'll continue to work with our partner facility in Yerevan.
Alex, we have a good question here. First off, from George, excellent presentation in wine. And he said, how much of the 20,000 bottles makes its way to the US? And then what other countries do you distribute in?
Yeah, that's a great question, because this gives me an opportunity to boast about my wine some more. So when we produced the wine, so 2018 was our first year. I had no idea if the wine would be good, would it be drinkable, will people like it, will it be successful? It was really a leap of faith, right? There was no business plan. There was, you know, we just decided we're going to make wine and hope and pray for it to be successful. So we did. We made, we processed 15 metric tons of grape, which produced about 12 or 13,000 bottles. And again, there was no marketing research or anything like that. We just, you know, like Armenians, yalla, let's make wine. So we decided to export 75% of our wine to the United States. And the reason is Armenia is it's a small market, right? There's barely 3 million people. It's, you know, US is 100 times bigger in terms of market opportunity. So 2018, we brought 75% of our wine to the US and left 25% for the local market. And by the way, we're in all the wine shops and supermarkets. We have a very good distributor in Armenia. Our wine is widely available there. Our US allocation sold out very quickly, but it's our Armenian allocation is still available in local Armenian stores. For 2019, we expanded to also export to Australia. So our wine is now exported to, is now available in 3 countries, US, Armenia, and Australia. And we just almost nearly signed a deal with a Russian importer that's looking to import a very, very large quantity of our wine to Russia. In fact, too large of a quantity. I won't be able to supply everything that they're asking for, because in the grand scheme of things, we're a small producer. 2018, we processed 15 metric tons, which is 15,000 kilograms of grape. 2019, we processed 24 metric tons, 24,000 kilograms. I'm looking for somewhere around 35 metric tons in 2021, which will be hopefully somewhere around 30,000 bottles. My goal is to increase our production up to around the 50,000 bottle mark, which is, you know, about double what we did in 2019. So we're still a small producer, and we're still exporting about 75% to the US.
Let's see, Jason, so Hegan has a question. Many of Armenian wines are more expensive, but you picked a lower price point, which makes it more accessible. Can you comment on that at all? If we will pay $12 a bottle for a California wine, it's a no-brainer to get the Aran wine for a few dollars more. I agree, Jason. Question.
So just to make it clear, I've not paid Jason to plant these questions beforehand. No, it is a good question. So again, you know, I'm professionally not in the wine industry. This is new for my wife and I. First of all, let me say my wife Talat, she's in the other room, but my wife Talat and I are, you know, in this venture together. We make all the decisions together, but none of us came from a professional alcohol industry background or anything like that. So all we know was our experience from the consumer standpoint. So we know what we like, we know the wines we like to drink, and we know the price that we like to pay for wines. So in a very general way, I'll say typically wines that are like $10 or under, or maybe now it's a little more, maybe it's like $12 and under. They really are bulk wines. You're not going to get, I mean, some of them are drinkable, some of them are fine. You can find better whites than reds in that price range, but for a red wine, you're not really going to get like a, you know, a crafted wine. It's going to be a bulk operation wine. So the wines that are more decent, we don't like paying much more than $20 or $30 for a good wine, right? Because if you have a bottle of wine with dinner every night or something, it, you know, you don't want to just spend all that much money on wine unless it's a special occasion, you're at a restaurant. So most expensive wines, most fine wines that are above a certain price point are really sold in restaurants. And that end of the wine business has really suffered due to COVID, because, you know, most restaurants that are open now are more family style restaurants. They're not the high-end restaurants that, you know, people go for like business dinners and stuff and they order expensive wines. So really we felt that there was a sweet spot in the market, you know, that sort of $15 to $25 range where there are a lot of good wines. We're competing with some other very good wines in that price point, but that was sort of what we had targeted. So what determines the price of a wine? Of course, there's the costs involved, and maybe the costs are a little higher in Armenia with bringing it over here, shipping and all of that. But also it's what the market can bear. So hopefully people feel comfortable paying what they pay for Aran wines. I think it is a good wine and a good value in that price range.
All right, so should we make this the last question? We have one more question
Sure.
from Leslie Esnoyan, Lynn's sister.
Oh.
Are cork trees readily available? And can you speak about the future of the use of the cork? That's a good
Yes.
question.
So first of all, I did mention this earlier. Everything about our wines, the grape is indigenous. The bottle is made in Armenia. There's a very good company in Yerevan called Saranis. They make excellent quality bottles. The labels are made in Armenia, printed in Armenia. The capsule is this part here. It's made in Armenia. Everything, the cartons, everything is sourced in Armenia, except for the cork. So cork trees are not indigenous to Armenia, so they come from Europe, Portugal, places like that. So modern corks are a little bit different than the corks of the old days. So if you look at our corks, you'll notice there's a little symbol on it. It's the name of the manufacturer. It says it's Diam. Diam is a French company that makes corks. But these corks are kind of a composite material. It's 100% cork, but it's not just a natural piece of cork. It's like it's a composite material made from like cork particles that are processed in an all-natural way to be much more airtight than the normal cork. And I believe their manufacturing techniques are environmentally friendly. In other words, they're not tearing down, natural cork trees. They're, farm raised, they're, renewable resource, etc. corks that they're processing. But the company is one of the premier cork manufacturers. If you're interested, it's called Diam, D-I-A-M. It's a French company. So this is really the only external to Armenia component in our winemaking.
I think that was the last question, unless somebody has one, if they would like to unmute. If not, this was phenomenal, Alex. Thank you. So the wine was phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Bravo.
And thank you all for. Hello. Hi, Annie.
Alex.
Nangadner. Chesek.
Hi, Alex.
Cheers.
Great job. Cheers.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right,
Sarah.
everybody give a cheers to Alex.
Cheers.
No, cheers to all of you. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. I hope I didn't drone on about wine because I can talk for hours about it.
No, we love the wine. Thank you.
It was great.
Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And hopefully we can do something in person.
I was just going to say that.
We have a nice hall.
Absolutely, it's on our agenda, so for sure.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you have a beautiful new church. I had the pleasure of being able to see it up there, and I'm glad to be able to support what you guys are doing.
Thank you. It was very good.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
In
Very
Armenia,
It was nice to see everybody.
in Armenia, when we sit around the table, we say a toast. And I would like to raise this glass, and I want everyone to raise their glass.
Are we on?
Absolutely, Billy.
For
Okay. Wait, I don't see my picture.
for Armenian nation, for all Armenians and non-Armenians, all our friends, everyone who are connected in a way to us. And we're so proud, Alex, that you and Tara venture in our motherland. And when you ask the question, what we taste, every time when I smell, I tasted Armenia, I smelled Armenia.
Oh,
And God protect our motherland, may God protect our church, our community, United States of America, and all the best to us. And with this glass also, I would like to kind of make my closing remarks as a toast that thank you to all our donors. Thank you to everyone who supported. Thank you to Alex and Talar and Sarafian Wine Company. Thank you to all our participants today. And also, I would like to say to our major donor who supported our event, Dr. Bazarian, who supported and who donated 2,500 towards our wine tasting. And still, it is open if you would like to donate and support our parish. After a couple of glasses, I hope you will be able to do and support us. And I would like to thank our fundraising committee members, and especially special thanks to Drew Kanayan and Michelle Bazarian for this wonderful event. Guess what? It's been a year and a half. We've been in pandemic. This was my best Zoom meeting.
Cheers. I'll drink to that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Genat Polorin Genatsa.
Mercy.
It's beautiful. Can I get on the picture?
If anyone, Michelle, Drew, do you have any comments, anything before?
Does anybody have any thoughts or comments before we sign off on this really lovely evening?
It was great. We loved it.
I can't wait till Havana.
Fill the hall.
All right, we need a match to build the hall. Who's matching? We need the church. I mean the church. The church. Yeah, the church.
I mean, everybody knows, I mean, I've got a sales mentality, but I don't like to live on commission, but.
You should do that.
So, we've done well.
Are we on there?
This is the bills of our church, which has been a tough year for everybody.
We're always talking.
Never mind.
Now you're on.
No, I'm on.
You're on mute. Yes.
Okay, everybody mute
I
while
mean,
Joel's
leaving with
talking.
this, it's, you know, been a tough year for everybody differently. You know, this was really geared toward, you know, helping our church at a time when, let's say, all nonprofits need everything. You know, I know the church stretched itself for the Artsakh War beyond what we had been asked from the diocese. So, you know, as a person who has a sales mentality but doesn't live off commission, you know, this was a great event, but when you think in the sales mentality, you can never have enough. Anybody, whether it's now or afterwards, would like to continue supporting this, we would greatly appreciate anything that can be done. But we thank you all for what you've done to this point.
You should have a wine glass.
All right, so why aren't we all singing along? Let's net Bazak Nerali.
Oh, yes.
Come on, Ani, lead us.
Come on.
Hartank might hold in a parkevo. Hartank might hold in a parkevo. Hayot. Bazak Nerali.
Ohio skinny.
Bravo. Nuts.
What happened to Alex? Alex, quickly before we sign off, somebody had asked me for the coupon code.
Oh, yes, it's HYE 2021, Hye 2021.
Okay, Hye 2021.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're on off of.
More wine.
All right.
I don't think they want to leave.
I know.
I think we're having.
We can sing another song.
Yeah, we still have more wine to drink.
I don't think anybody wants to leave. I think this is the best time we've had.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
Dr. Richards? Michelle did an unbelievable job Thank you. As well as the whole presentation was great.
Yeah, thank you.
Alex, thank you so much.
And she is my cousin, but.
Alex, I didn't pay her. She didn't pay me either. Thanks, guys. It was great.
Dro was,
Dro,
it was so fun
thank you,
working with
Dro.
Dro. Dro did an amazing
He
job.
is. He's unbelievable.
Bro, thank
He
you.
recruited like nobody ever recruited before.
Thank you, Drew.
Yeah.
He always says there, after this I have to be involved something, I'm taking break, but no break.
No break, right?
No break.
No break, no. It was good to see. It was good to see a lot of you people. Kim, it was good to see you. I talked to you today.
I know, it was
Yeah.
nice.
Good to see you in person.
Thank
And
you.
My family, and Linda, and it's just good to see you all. Leslie, I haven't seen you since you were a little girl. Hardly at Holy Cross.
I might need to meet her because she might go through everybody.
I know you might.
Shut me off because I've had a few wines.
Oh, she's-
Alex, thank you so much. I'm so happy that I met you, and I feel like you're part of my family now. And I'm just, this was awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Alex, I can't wait to get to your rosé.
One more, I think here we need one more song that everyone knows. Hayastan ashkar dome kanarodes nor kyankov arman Gojapan manot karoder Dokhirima Buline kavet melois paros Numne hayreni Mashtoti Amen Hye Yerek çors Harkıt tırçume Yerkıt kançume Hove darçele zor Bir tet kayda Ayas paraban La 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 Hey Sirtet kaydare mitket paytsare Hayas parapans. Getse Hayastan.
Getse Hayastan.
Getir Hayastan.
Getse Hayastan.
Good boy.
Yerevan tatsal imerebuni shumenotami menorani nepokri govi
Pats.
tu bezyerazan metare garot metare nazan
Yerevani,
Who was that singing? That was incredible.
That's Baykar, Taynedan Spar.
Oh,
Well
very
done.
What's everyone doing next Friday night?
This should be a regular.
I
regular-
think yes again.
I have the guts to even sing when Ani's on the Zoom with us. Come on.
You should drink even though your husband's not home yet.
You're fired, Pam.
I thought you said.
Hi, buddy.
It's so good to see all of you, honestly. This was
Who
the
is it?
Okay.
Mommy, why you calling me?
Because you slammed the door.
not home.
Mommy,
Mommy needs a glass of wine.
why you pawn?
Why do I have this on? Because mommy had a wine class, but I have to wait till daddy comes home. Because you were in the hospital. That's why I can't have wine. Okay, you go to your room.
Shut up.
Okay, go to mommy and daddy's room.
Everyone, I would like to again thank all of you for participating, for joining tonight.
Alex,
Hello,
Alex.
anyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi, it's Carol. It's Michelle's mom.
Hi.
Had a few already, but that's okay. It was delicious. The white was really good. But I want to just double check. We can order the pre-order the reserve,
Yes.
and can we order the pre-order the rosé?
Yes. You can pre-order the reserve, the red, the
I have
rosé,
the red. I
the
ordered
white. They're all available. They will all be available by July, and you can pre-order any of them.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I'll make sure that I put some rosé aside for you.
Yo, thank you so much. Okay, I'm dying to try that. Yeah, the Chardonnay was very good. I've had the red anyway, but the Chardonnay was
Yeah.
really
It's actually Vosekhat. It's a different. It's not a Chardonnay grape. It's Vosekhat. It's indigenous to a unique grape that's only from Armenia, the white.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
of course. They make the best wine. I always
Yes,
said
they
that.
do. Yeah.
Years ago in 1995, was it when Michelle went to Armenia? She brought back a bottle of red wine. The first time I've ever had it was the Armenian. It was the most delicious wine, and I think Armenia makes the best one. And that's my thing for today.
Well,
Alex,
thank you for your support. Yeah.
You got it.
Alex,
Dear friends,
Alex, we gonna see you on the cruise this year again? That was great too.
Yes. Yeah. Well, not a cruise this time.
Yes.
It's going to be.
Yeah, all-inclusive resort, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I-
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah.
We're doing. Last time we were going to be doing a wine tasting at the resort at the Hyatt in Dominican Republic, but then COVID happened, everything got canceled. But next year we'll be there and we'll be doing a wine tasting there as well. So if we can work out the logistics of it, which is, there's a lot of difficulty in shipping wine to a different country. But if we can work out the logistics, we're actually looking to have our wine be available at the bars of the resort the whole week. So if you go to one of the restaurants, you can order our wine with dinner. But if that's not possible, at a minimum, we'll be doing the tasting event.
that would be fantastic. Really great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all need a vacation, so we're really looking forward to the.
Who's in for the Dominican?
What's the
We're all in.
cruise?
So there's an Armenian heritage cruise, which has been happening for about, close to 20 years, I think. And because, the cruise has been to all the islands, over the years, to kind of shake things up, the committee changed the format a little bit. So in 2022, in January 2022, it will be Armenian, instead of Armenian Heritage Cruise, it will be Armenian Heritage Week at the Hyatt something resort in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. So it'll be a resort full of Armenians, eating, drinking, dancing, attending lectures. It should be fun.
Apparently singing too.
Yes. So we'll be doing our wine tasting there as well.
I can imagine a week all Armenians together.
Yes. Take this night and multiply it by 1,000.
Now, can everyone hear me? Looks like
Just barely.
The volume's very low, Deadeye.
Is he on?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear anything now.
Yeah, no, I can't.
I think he turned his volume the other way.
Hey, Dead
Can you hear me?
Hide? We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Dead Hide.
Can
Oh.
you hear me now?
He must have
No.
gone to get another bottle of wine. I don't know.
He's there. The picture was there, but he can't. We can't hear him.
Okay, it looks like something is
Oh.
wrong.
Yeah.
Mommy, you should get another song going until he figures it out.
I'm curious to see how some of our friends that are not Armenian, like, what did you think about the wine? Like, did you enjoy, learning about our culture and our country? And, any thoughts on that? Because we have some folks out there that, as we say in Armenian, odarts.
Are there others out there?
I don't think.
Michelle,
Yeah.
Ray just said, hey,
How
hey,
about-
hey.
How about the Lallies? I'm gonna put you on the spot. What did you think?
So I do have some Armenian heritage. My grandmother was 100%, so I'm 25%.
Oh,
However,
wow.
there we go. She passed away when I was very, very young. So her maiden name was Sarafian, actually.
Okay.
But she passed away when I was young, so we don't have many traditions or anything. So to me, this was so eye-opening and so wonderful. The wine is absolutely delicious, and just hearing the history, it makes me want to go back and research my ancestry.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
good.
Dead
Good
Hide.
to hear, yeah.
Dead Hide,
My
if you
husband's a
want.
full-blown Irish guy, though.
Dead Hide, if you want, I can do a genealogy talk for your parish one day, Armenian genealogy. So for those that are trying to learn more and what resources are available to them, I can easily do that for your parish one day, however you want to do it. As you know, it's pretty extensive these days, the network of people doing this. So I'd be happy to do that anytime.
That's great.
I have no Armenian heritage other than growing up with Linda Tenoyan as one of my best friends and celebrating a lot of the holidays with her. But this has been fabulous in learning about Armenian history. And I very much appreciate all of what you offered tonight. The wine is fabulous.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
And I think the genocide that's going on in Armenia, it just does not have enough press. It was really eye-opening and really touched my heart. So my question to you is, do you ship to Colorado?
Yes, I believe Colorado is one of the states we ship to. So,
Okay.
So again, we're just pre-ordering now for July delivery, but we can ship to Colorado. Let me just make sure.
I just I have wine loving family there. So
yes, we can ship to Colorado. I just double checked. So that's one of the allowed states.
Okay. But this was just awesome to learn so much history along with the winemaking. And I am devastated that you lost your vineyard. That is just so sad.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, not for me, for the nation, for the country. I mean, because, yes, I lost my vineyard, but so many people lost everything, from their lives, to their family, to their relatives, to their livelihood, to, it was really a devastating war. So, hopefully things will improve, but it's 2020 was not a good year.
No, not. But thank you for this night.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
I think that probably wraps it up. Is everybody ready to go, or Dead High, do you want another song?
Carol doesn't want to hang up. Okay.
Carol, I think I might have to put Carol to bed before I go home to my husband and my children.
Oh my God, it was wonderful night. It was really good. Thank you.
This was
Alex.
really fun.
Thank you. Yeah. Good to see everybody.
It was
Yeah.
good to see everybody.
Thanks
Night.
again, everyone. You guys have a wonderful community, wonderful parish. So I'm hoping we can do more things together down the road.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hope
Alex.
so.
Thank you.
Next one's in person, everybody, so watch out.
Good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Good
Bye,
Good
everyone.
night, everybody. Good night, Dead High.
Bye.
Good night, It's Skin.
Hey, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you,
thank
Alex.
you.
Bye.
Good night.
Hi, Scott. Are you awake?
Some things don't change.
That was fun.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank-
Was she gone?
Probably, I think so.
I was just gonna say, oh, Mrs. Bazarian.
She's gone.
Is she
Leave her
gone?
alone, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
She left before I could roast her.
You were too late in replying to her.
He was too late.
That's all right.
He didn't want to.
See you all in church on Sunday.
Right, I was just gonna. Good night.